Welcome to a story where the mightiest weapon isn't a legendary sword or ancient magic, but a shovel and a blueprint. Our tale begins on a picturesque grassy hill, with two fellas gazing out at a vast, empty landscape that's just begging for some urban development. The one with the smug grin and the trusty shovel is our protagonist. The one with the cool white hair and the stoic, "I'm too cool for this" expression is his bodyguard. And at their feet, four bizarre, fluffy creatures that look like they're buzzing with pure, unadulterated energy. The man with the shovel, our hero, would like you to know his name is Kim Suho. Well, it was Kim Suho. In this world, he goes by Lloyd Frontera. With a confident smile, he declares that this is the story of an ordinary civil engineer. He swings his shovel and slams it into the ground, and suddenly the world glitches. A massive blue checkered circle erupts from the earth, expanding outwards and transforming the serene landscape into a digital wireframe. Skyscrapers made of pure light begin to construct themselves, painting a modern city over the medieval mountains. This, Lloyd explains, is the story of how one builder with an unquenchable thirst for profit completely changed the world. He turns to his companion, his face splitting into a terrifying, money-crazed grin. "Xavier," he shouts, spreading his arms wide as if to embrace the very air. "It's all money." He lets out a maniacal laugh, the kind that makes you question a man's sanity. His long-suffering bodyguard Xavier can only watch on and wonder, has his master finally gone completely insane? To answer that, we have to go back a few years. Our hero, then just a regular guy, finds himself lying on the ground, a system notification blinking in his face. "Congratulations, you have been chosen by the Absolute. You may make a wish." He's groggy, confused, and utterly unimpressed. Another window pops up. "You have become a hero in the novel, The Knight of Iron and Blood." He actually recognizes the title. He literally just finished reading it yesterday. The system wishes him good luck and tells him to try hard. He has no idea what wish it's talking about and assumes he's just hallucinating. Then it hits him, the cold ground, the strange clothes. This isn't a dream. This is that classic trope, transmigration into another world. He's been ice-guyed into the body of a character from a web novel. He shakily gets to his feet, complaining about the cold, only to realize his mouth feels wrong. It's cartoonishly small and shifted to the side. A bright red notification pops up, helpfully informing him, "System, mouth is currently crooked due to sleeping on the street." It's the kind of blunt, unhelpful advice you'd expect from a user manual written by a troll. He slaps the window away, annoyed, and manually shoves his mouth back into place. So who is he in this world? He's clearly not some grand hero, just a bum sleeping on the road. Just then a calm voice calls out, "Mr. Lloyd." A man with silver hair and a blue uniform approaches. From the golden sword guard at his belt, Lloyd recognizes him instantly. It's Xavier, the main character of the novel. At this point in the story, Xavier is a knight guarding a local baron. And that baron's eldest son, a notorious, lazy, alcoholic troublemaker, is named. Lloyd screams in horrified realization. "Am I really that prankster Lloyd Frontera?" Xavier looks at him, a flicker of surprise on his face. "I did not call you a prankster, my lord. I only called you by name." He then allows a small, almost imperceptible smile. "Although it's good that you assess yourself correctly." A new notification dings. Xavier seems pleased. Lloyd mentally tells the system to shut its trap. Back at the Frontera family mansion, a grand but slightly worn-down estate, Xavier explains the situation. Apparently, the original Lloyd got wasted at the local tavern, broke all the dishes, and then passed out on the road home. The Baron was worried and sent Xavier to find him, noting that even if his son is a prankster, he'd be sad if he died on the street with a crooked mouth. Lloyd listens, realizing this is exactly the kind of behavior he'd expect from the novel's resident trash-tier aristocrat. As Xavier leaves for the night, Lloyd is left to ponder his fate. He knows this story. He knows what happens to the Frontera family. Swindlers trick the kind-hearted Baron, bankrupting the family. The Baron and his wife, in their despair, commit suicide, and what becomes of Lloyd? He turns into an even bigger degenerate, drinking himself to death while mourning his parents. He throws off his blanket in a panic. "Even as an aristocrat, my life is as worthless as it was in Korea." He curses the Absolute for sticking him in such a dead-end body. The next morning, Lloyd is dragged before his mother, Marbella Frontera. She's fuming about the tavern incident. "You will go and apologize this instant," she commands. Instead of throwing a tantrum like the old Lloyd would, our new hero guiltily scratches the back of his head and immediately agrees. This sudden display of responsibility shocks both his mother and Xavier, a fact the pop-up notification is all too happy to point out. Lloyd and Xavier head into the village, but the reception is frosty. The moment the villagers see Lloyd, they literally shutter their windows and run for the hills. One man dives behind his cart. A mother yanks her curious child inside, slamming the shutters shut. System, the villagers hate you. Yeah, no kidding, I got that, Lloyd mutters to the air. He asks Xavier why he's following him, and his knight flatly replies that the Baron ordered him to make sure Lloyd doesn't cause more trouble. To be more precise, Xavier adds, it's to protect the residents from you. Lloyd realizes his reputation is so far in the gutter, it's halfway to the Earth's core. If he ever wants to turn his family's fate around, he needs to fix his public image. And more importantly, he needs to find a way to make money, lots and lots of money. He imagines himself bathing in a pool of gold coins. That's the life. He mentally asks the universe if there are any cheats in this game. A blue window appears, showing him his skills, worthlessness, and drunkard. Infuriated, he tries to smash the skill window, flailing his arms at nothing while a very confused Xavier watches his master have a meltdown. As they approach the tavern, Xavier stops him, pointing out that Lloyd is walking right past it. Was the apology just a lie? Lloyd, flustered, insists it wasn't. He slowly opens the tavern door, peering inside with a meek apology. Xavier can only stare, thinking his young master has been acting like a completely different person since yesterday. The tavern is a disaster zone. Broken furniture is everywhere. The bald owner takes one look at Lloyd and immediately squares up for a fight. System, the tavern owner does not trust you. Lloyd, remembering his character, tries a different approach. He switches to a rude, demanding tone, ordering the man to forgive him. This, of course, only makes things worse. The terrified owner just bows and stammers that everything is fine, practically begging Lloyd to leave. Walking away, Lloyd is frustrated. The apology was a total failure. Xavier explains that it's not surprising. Lloyd didn't just break some dishes, he destroyed items the man bought with his own sweat and blood. Without compensation, an apology is meaningless. But the Frontera family is drowning in debt. There's no money for compensation. To make matters worse, Xavier mentions that the tavern owner's mother is sick and the inn is freezing cold. Lloyd remembers the single, pathetic fireplace in the inn. He thinks about how hard it is for the elderly to survive the cold, especially without a proper heating system. A floor heating system, and that's when it hits him. A light bulb goes on in his head so bright it practically explodes with electrical energy. He's a civil engineer, he knows how to build things. He knows countless schematics, he carried bricks, he worked on construction sites day and night. In this medieval fantasy world, a modern floor heating system would be revolutionary. It would sell like hotcakes. This is it, this is his master plan. This is how he'll pay off the family debt and live a life of absurd luxury. Full of newfound purpose, he turns to Xavier and shouts, "We're going back to the tavern. We're about to receive our first order." Just then, a flurry of notifications pop up. Relationship point system activated. Gain reputation RP by interacting with others. Current reputation 0. Lloyd is confused. RP, is it like experience points? The system explains that by improving relationships with main characters, he can get more RP. He glances at Xavier and a new window appears over the knight's head. Interest level in Lloyd, -30. -30, that's really low. Lloyd decides to test it out. He turns to Xavier with his best smile and says, "You know, you're a very handsome man." Xavier just raises an eyebrow. "I am aware." The interest level immediately drops. Interest level in Lloyd, -31. Okay, maybe he'll leave that for later. Back at the tavern, Lloyd presents a formal contract. The client, the innkeeper, the contractor, Lloyd Frontera, the cost, deducted from the compensation he owes for the damages. The innkeeper stares at him, his face a stone wall of mistrust. System, he does not trust you. Skill, mental wall detected. Lloyd realizes he needs to use his character's special ability. He puts on a pathetic, sniveling face and says, "We're going to be seeing each other a lot, so we should trust each other, right?" It's a trashy, manipulative move, but it works. The innkeeper, worn down, signs the contract. Later, as Lloyd starts digging the foundation, Xavier confronts him, accusing him of blackmailing the innkeeper with this new level of tyranny. Lloyd, leaning on his shovel, launches into a lecture about cognitive distortion and how Xavier is trapped by stereotypes. Experience and statistics are all in the past, aren't they? He argues. Xavier is momentarily stunned by the surprisingly coherent argument. Shaking it off, Lloyd sticks the shovel back in the ground with a grin. Just you wait. The innkeeper and his mother are going to be laughing with joy. And as he digs, he thinks to himself, "And their smiles will be the foundation of my earnings." For a week, Lloyd works tirelessly, digging, compacting earth, and building a wooden frame. His new aristocrat body is pathetically weak and he's constantly exhausted. Xavier watches, bewildered. Where did this lazy bum learn to build? And why is he actually honoring a contract? It's completely out of character. Just as Lloyd is about to collapse from exhaustion while trying to chop wood, Xavier catches his hand. He takes the axe and asks what needs to be done. With a single, masterful swing, he perfectly chops the logs into flawless boards. Lloyd's jaw drops. A swordmaster is basically a high-powered construction tool. Seeing his chance, Lloyd immediately puts the knight to work. "Hey Xavier, since you're done with that, could you help me with the digging?" Xavier freezes, annoyed that he didn't even get a thank you. But Lloyd, with a sly grin, points out that Xavier was only watching out of curiosity, wondering how Lloyd would cheat the innkeeper this time. The only way to see the result is to finish the job. And the fastest way to finish is to work together. Defeated by logic, a grumpy Xavier picks up a shovel and starts digging. Finally, the construction is complete. A small but well-built boiler room stands next to the inn, complete with a strange symbol Lloyd proudly calls his brand logo. Inside, the innkeeper's elderly mother is lying on the newly heated floor, a blissful smile on her face. "It's so warm," she sighs, "my joints are finally resting." The innkeeper is speechless, thanking Lloyd profusely. He hasn't seen his mother smile like that in years. From the doorway, Xavier watches in shock. Lloyd did exactly what he said he would do. For the first time, a genuine smile touches Xavier's lips. A notification appears. Xavier's interest level has increased by 2 points. Current level, a small victory. Lloyd smirks. The first order is complete. Even though he lost money on it, it doesn't matter. This little house wasn't just a house, it was an advertisement. And it works. A few days later, a long line of villagers has formed, all eager to see the miracle heating system. Lloyd, now in full salesman mode, slaps the table. "Isn't it hot? Wouldn't you like a room like this?" He offers 2 models and a 10% discount for a double order, but the villagers are still wary. System, the villager does not trust Lloyd. Lloyd leans in, using his signature insignificant persuasion technique. "For this price, it's a gift." Just as the man is about to cave, a stern voice calls out. It's Lloyd's father, Baron Arcus Frontera, busted. And that's where we'll end part 1. Lloyd has successfully completed his first project, but now he has to face the head of the family. Will the Baron shut down his budding construction empire? How will he deal with the mountain of family debt and the looming threat of the loan sharks? And what other crazy skills will his system unlock? Find out next time, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. See you in the next recap.